What's going on, people? This is Shok, and it's going to be a quick video here, but I just want to make sure that I point this out because I think it's something that a lot of people aren't realizing. Everyone's, really excited and hyped for it. I am too. So a lot of people aren't thinking about it, but you guys know me. I always think about the factors, behind things that happen. Why is this happening? Why is it happening this way? Why is this not happening? Stuff like that. What does this existing entail? What does it mean? I'm always thinking about stuff like that. But we got two Metroid games announced in the same day. Now, for those of you who don't follow Nintendo, who aren't Nintendo fans, let me just get some context for you guys so you can understand how strange that is. The last Metroid game we got was 6 years ago. I'm not counting Federation Force. That game should never have been made. That game was a disgrace to the series. And the only reason why it got released is because it was already a halfway done game. They were originally developing for the DS, but it got caught in some type of development hell and they had to sit on it for a while. And, after a while, they're just like, hey, we still have this game here. Let's just finish it up and throw it on the 3DS. That's pretty much what Federation Force was, right? So it wasn't that they made Federation Force out of the love for the Metroid franchise. That's obvious considering it was hardly a freaking Metroid game, right? But yeah, 2010 was pretty much the last time we got an actual Metroid game. Whether or not you hated other M, it was Metroid. I mean, it wasn't no Federation Force crap, So I mean, it was Metroid, whether you loved it or hated it. I overall enjoyed it personally. I agree with a lot of the criticisms that it got. Some of the story elements, voice acting. Definitely the controls were remote sideways. That game should have been controlled with the analog stick. But regardless, I still enjoyed it overall. I think the strengths outweighed the cons at the end of the day. But anyways, and before that, Prime 3 had came out in 2007. So we literally haven't had a sequel to Prime 3 in 10 years. And by the time Prime 4 will come out, it'll be over 10 years until we got the last Prime game. And the last 2D Metroid we got, you guys see what I'm saying. Long time ago. So why, you see where I'm getting at, why all of a sudden do you think, out of the blue, for one of the most neglected franchises in recent Nintendo history, why do you think we got two games in that neglected franchise announced in the same day, within an hour of each other? It's because of us. That is why. Now, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to sit here and say this is facts, whatever, because of course we won't know for certain. We can't say it's a fact until Nintendo comes out and says it themselves. But I'm 100% convinced the reason why we're getting both of these games right next to each other announced the same day is because of the fan outcry. It's because we've been clamoring for real Metroid games 2D and 3D for so many years. And then in 2015, they revealed Federation Force, right? Federation Force, Metroid Prime Tater Tot Force was announced in 2015. It got the biggest backlash, one of the biggest backlashes I've ever seen. And the next time they showed that game, the developer had to defend the game from the fans. So that shows you that Nintendo actually was, well aware of the backlash. They were aware that people were like, I'm not fucking with this game. You see what I'm saying? Like that was apparent. Nintendo was aware of this. And then in future interviews with Reggie and other Metroid developers or producers, they were like, we know that wasn't really the traditional Metroid experience that people wanted. We're trying to see what we're going to do with Metroid games in the future, yada yada. So they've acknowledged multiple times that they knew Federation Force was some BS, basically. And they said time and time again, we know Metroid's, been on a hiatus, for the most part and stuff like that, right? So Metroid's always been one of Nintendo's most so sometimes it just seems like they ignore the franchise. They don't care about the fan base. They didn't even do anything for like the 25th anniversary, all that kind of stuff, right? And then all of a sudden they come out with two games and you think that's just a coincidence. They announced two games at the same time and you think that's a coincidence. No, that is because the fans clamored for that. That is because the fans gave that major backlash to Federation Force. Maybe if it was just one game, I can understand why you would argue against me. But think about it, Metroid. Two Metroid games announced in the same day? And you think that's a coincidence? You think Nintendo just did that because they actually wanted to? No, they did that because of the fans. That's why they did that. Think about that, people. This is Metroid we were talking about. That'd be like, I don't even know an equivalent for like Sony or Microsoft, because I can't really think of a franchise that people are clamoring for them to bring back. I don't know, that I guess you could say like that's Microsoft showing a Conquer, an actual good Conquer game, and like a new Perfect Dark in the same day or something like that. Like, oh, they're listening to the Rare fans. You know, it'd be something kind of similar, you know, along those lines. That's what the Metroid franchise kind of is for Nintendo. It's been something that's been kind of like neglected. It hasn't been continued. You know, both 2D and 3D have their stories kind of ending on those, you know, cliffhanger and whatnot, right? They just never really got back to it. They never really got around it. They don't do anything for the Metroid series. It just really hasn't gotten that much attention, and in the last, you know, good decade, really, or, you know, 7 years and whatnot, right? But then 2 get announced on the same day. So you guys see what I'm saying. This is why it is so important to be vocal. This is why we need to tell them what we want. This is why when they give us crap like Federation Force, it's good to clap back on them and tell them, hey, no, that's not good. Give us the real thing. Because now we got the real thing. Again, I can't prove this 100%. But like I said, I'm fully convinced, and you will be hard-pressed to argue that we're not getting 2 Metroid games. Two at the same time. Because of just random chance. You can't argue that. You'd be hard-pressed to argue against the fact that they're doing this because of the fan outcry. So for all you guys who always say, Shokio, you're just a Nintendo hater. This is conspiracy that I'm trying to appeal to the Sony guys. I'm trying to fit in with the Sony fan base. Although I do like no Sony videos on this channel whatsoever. I don't really talk to any Sony guys, you know, outside of Jack. You know, that's it, Jack Mujani. But I mean, that's how, anyways, like, it's crazy how these people will keep giving us crap for being vocal, for vocalizing our issues and our concerns, telling Nintendo, hey, we want this, hey, you probably shouldn't do that, you should do that, you know, yada yada, telling us to shut up when we're the ones getting you more games. We're the ones trying to get you a better system. The Switch needs a freaking headset that just plugs into the jack and just works. Right? We don't need this adapter crap, and God forbid if you guys have one of the newest iPhones, good luck trying to do voice chat through the app on that thing. You need so many dongles and splitters, and it's ridiculous. Right? There's no internet browser on the Switch, yeah, so when we say these things, people are always constantly telling us, you know, shut up, stop bitching, yada yada, and then when these things come, right, when Nintendo does something because the fan says so, all those people, all those Nintendo loyalists are so excited when they don't realize that the people they've been shitting on were the ones who got those things for them in the first place. You see what I'm saying? So, I'm not saying, you know, me personally, like, I did this, but I'm saying I'm a part of it, but you guys are welcome. You guys are welcome for the Prime 4 and for the Metroid Samus Returns. Because I was vocal that they need to do something with Metroid. They need to be more vocal, pay more attention to it, get us a real Metroid game. And I encourage others to be vocal for that. And there's plenty of people all across the net, whether it's on GAF, Reddit, whatever, who have been vocal towards Nintendo about Metroid and F-Zero. Hopefully F-Zero is next. So you guys are welcome. And I'm not saying that if we never said anything, we would have never gotten another Metroid game. Don't get me wrong, we would have. But we would not have gotten it this quickly. And it wouldn't have been 2 at the same time. See what I'm saying? That's just way too coincidental. Way too coincidental. No way in hell we get 2 Metroid games at the same time for no actual external reason. Just because Nintendo wanted to. No way. I refuse to believe that. I cannot believe that. Period. They did that because of the fan clamoring. They did that because of the fan criticism. And that is why it is important to vocalize your concerns to your company of choice. Do you guys understand it now? And again, I'm not saying we would have never gotten a Metroid if we didn't say anything, but we wouldn't have gotten it this soon. And it wouldn't have been in this quantity is what I am saying. Because think about it. Another supporting point to support what I'm saying is they showed a freaking They showed a generic font, Metroid Prime, with like a Times New Roman 4. Little altered Times New Roman 4, right? How many times has Nintendo revealed a major game, one of their big top 5 franchises, right? With just a generic logo. A logo, right? Right? No subtitle or anything, just 4, Prime 4, and like that's it, right? How many times have they done that? They only do that with smaller projects, and even then, they don't do it that often. They'll do it with like, Fire Emblem Warriors and Shin Megami X Fire Emblem. It's a little collaboration, little side stuff. But like a Mario and Zelda, I can't really think of a time where they just showed the logo and that was it, without at least a CG trailer. So the point I'm getting with this is, you could tell that they're hurrying this along. They hurried to reveal this because Nintendo usually does not. You guys know this. As Nintendo fans, you know this. They usually do not announce a major game unless they have gameplay to show. Unless they have, at least something in engine or something, right? But at the very, very, very least, they don't do it usually, but at the very, very least, a CG trailer. But they didn't even have that ready. You see what I'm saying? So if Prime 4 was being made right now because Nintendo wanted to, it either 1, would it have something to show, or 2, wouldn't have been revealed right now. You see what I'm saying? The announcement is being rushed. It's being hurried along. They're like, oh, holy crap! Okay, Federation Force, that was a dud. People are giving us Prime 4. Tell them Prime 4. We're working on it. We're getting on it pronto. That's what they did. Dear guys, I just don't know how many months, how many years I have to be on here preaching the same thing to this fan base before they get it. The only ones that are going to be able to better Nintendo are us, are ourselves. This is why it's good to be vocal. So good job, everyone out there who has been vocal, who did not defend Federation Force and say this is great, Nintendo. Thanks for the Metroid game, because it definitely wasn't a freaking Metroid game. Thanks to everyone who backlashed on that. I'm not saying if you didn't, you're a sheep or whatever. If you enjoyed the game, that's fine. I'm saying if you defended the game saying, oh, this is Metroid, and see, they finally gave us Metroid. Shut up, you crybabies. If we never, backlashed Federation Force, Nintendo would have been like, oh, we released a game with Metroid in the title and no one really said anything. I guess they'll take that. I guess we could chill on Metroid for another, 5 years, right? And just keep on working on other stuff. But because we let them know what we really wanted, we're getting Prime 4 sooner than later. And we're getting a remake of Metroid 2 Return of Samus. Fucking hype. Be vocal. Let's start working on F-Zero next. I'll see y'all later.